Hello. Now we continue with this lecture on value management in global supply chain. When we say value management, we would like to differentiate value management from supply chain management. So we have a value chain management and we have a global value chain management and we have a global supply chain management. So what's the difference? Before we continue discussing all of these materials here, all right, let me go to the history of this particular item for your appreciation. You see, the word value chain management was first developed by Michael Porter, and he said that a company who would like to be competitive would need to have all of these functions put together, and he called this value chain management. So from his point of view, a value chain management would consist of support activities with this component and primary activities with this component. The primary activities would be inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, marketing, and service. On the other hand, the support activities would be firm infrastructure, human resource development, technology, and procurement. All together, when you put all together, you generate a capacity to deliver goods from here out there, and in the process you satisfy your customer, and in the process you make money. And so one of the example that I put there is the supply chain for the automotive industry. All right, where you have all of these brakes, you put them together, and at the end you come out with a car. But if you look at all of this, you have what is the firm infrastructure? A firm infrastructure is where accounting, finance, this is the senior management. They are there and they are plotting or thinking of where the company will go. Human resource would be your personal department. Technology development is your research and development. Procurement would be your purchasing, because in procurement you procure for all elements, all parts. Now this is what we refer to as the most important part, the primary activities. Inbound, where you have the warehousing here. Operation, in some cases you have the factory. Outbound logistics will be the delivery. Marketing and sales, these are those who are collecting money, distributing advertising campaigns, doing a promo. Service is like after sales service. When Toyota, for example, sell you a car, there has to be a garage who will take care of the car. So in car selling, in big ticket product like refrigerator, like cars, or even building, once the final product is turned over, still there are a lot of services that needed to be done for the final product to be delivered. So this is the overall Michael Porter idea, and he said that any company who would like to be competitive has to do all of this properly. And if one of this is missing, immediately the effect is felt. If, for example, the warehouse is broken, right? Maybe something like there's a bomb or electricity not working inside the warehouse, and the operation inside the warehouse is compromised, then goods cannot move from here to there. Or if the machine is not working here, or if the delivery is not done, immediately on that moment you can feel the effect here on this side. However, if the procurement does not work immediately, or because of the effect of warehouses, the warehouse will serve as a buffer. You have the technology. If all of this are like delayed for 1, 2, 3 days, the effect is not seen immediately here. But when on the but the role of the support activities is necessary for long-term competitiveness. That's why you have here the support activities and you have the primary activities. And the perception of people who are working here is totally different from those who are working here. Here you do on a day-to-day basis. Here you do like on a month-to-month or year-to-year basis. Okay, so that's the value chain management. And so we now go back. When you say what's the difference between the value chain and supply chain? The difference between the value chain and supply chain is that the supply chain is the process involved in fulfilling a certain customer request. There is already a request, fulfilling a customer request. Whereas a value chain is how to make it competitive. Do you see the difference here? The perspective is that for supply chain, I need to bring this pencil or this stylus to a certain Dr. Tan in Camp 7. This is supply chain management. Value chain is I need to design or I need to deliver this product to Jarir. Maybe there is one person like Dr. Tan, maybe not Dr. Tan, who would want this type. And because I am delivering this to Jarir, I'll be ahead compared to all of my competitors. Because I'm the only one who has this type of stylus. So the perspective in value chain is broad and it's not targeted to one individual, but more on the concept and the service. Whereas in supply chain, it is very laser focused on one particular sales order. That's why the idea of logistics and delivery is very strong in supply chain. So let us continue. The idea of value chain was pioneered by Michael Porter. As you can see here, there's no mention that it has to be Dr. Tan or Dr. Hafizi or Dr. Ashfaq. There's no mention of that. Whereas in the supply chain there is. So here you can say, here in this particular part, maybe the type of Dr. Hafizi or the type of Dr. Ashfaq. So that's what you do here. That's what you design. You think if you are talking about value chain, because they are almost very similar to one another. So that's one difference. The idea of value chain was pioneered by Michael Porter. 5 steps in the value chain give a company the ability to create value exceeding the cost of providing its goods or service to customers. Maximizing the activities in any one with 5 steps allows a company to have a competitive advantage over competitors in its industry. These 5 steps are inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. So the thinking of these 5 talks about the movement of goods from one point to another. And specifically, if you do this well, we say that you are able to become more competitive. A profitable value chain requires connections between what consumers demand, consumers in general, not a specific person, and what a company produces. Value chains place a great amount of focus on things such as product testing, innovation, research, development, and marketing. So this would be the basic difference. So let's go back. The difference between the value chain and the supply chain is that the supply chain is the process of all parties involved in fulfilling a customer request. there is already a demand, there is already an address. While a value chain is a set of interrelated activities a company uses to create a competitive advantage. So their perspective are different. Okay, so let us continue working on this. Now that we are through with discussing this value chain, let us go deeper into what Sebastian Cott said. In value chain, the source of the value is the customer, meaning the source of the idea is the customer, is any customer. So I would like to add the word here. The source of value is a type of customer, a type of. All right, it's a type of a customer. Type of a customer. Saying this because meaning and value in the form of demand flows to the supplier. Sometimes it's called a demand chain. So sometimes we do type or we say profile, a specific profile. Sometimes we say source is the source is a profile, is a customer of a profile, of a specific type profile. All right. What is a profile? A profile could be what is a profile? Could be age, could be educational background, could be place of birth, could be hobby, anything. So in value chain, the source of value is a type of a customer, and value in the form of demand flows to the supplier. Okay, so that's the global value chain. So let's now go back here and discuss further the global value management. Global value chain strategies are motivated by numerous factors. So meaning this concept of looking at the entire spectrum and looking at a type of a customer are motivated by numerous factors, and like changing business models allows firms to seize opportunities by tapping into new growth markets, accessing lower cost resources and best in world capabilities. You specialize in core competencies to sustain competitive advantage and achieve economies of scale and scope. And number two, global value chain strategies are motivated by numerous factors such as growing competition in domestic and international market force to increase efficiency and to move into higher value added activities. So these are motivation of global value chain strategies. In effect, these are the reason why you want to do global value chain strategy, changing business models and growing competition. These two, because you might have set up a competitive approach, but competitive models, the models of doing business changes over time. And we say that a fragmentation of the production process increases competition. When you are able to cut down your company, like say the personnel goes in this place, for example, the personal department can go to India, the call center can go to Philippines, the tailoring or if you are creating shoes or creating cloth, the process of assembling the cloth into a dress is done in Bangladesh, and the compilation is done in Hong Kong. So that's called fragmentation. A fragmentation of the production process increases competition because everyone are now able to do their best, and everyone, because they can do their best, they can be very good in what they're doing, and they can do it at the lowest cost. So competition be there. Firms can be easily replaced and therefore constantly innovate and seek to develop a global reach. Because this guy, say in India, or can easily be replaced because another person in India is doing the same thing. You can just shift there. Or this guy who put together the cloth in Bangladesh can easily be replaced by another company in Bangladesh because they are doing all the same thing, and therefore the competition will be higher in that country, which translate into a cheaper product for those who are selling that item here. But your competitor, there's another guy on the other side who's doing the same thing. So all of us in the industry are able to do things in a very cheap way, and therefore competition will be there. And we also know that industries are finding innovative ways to adapt. So let's continue. Now that we talk about this global value chain, we shall now talk about these 5 main types of GVC governance structures. But this is a huge topic, so let's pause for a while, take a break. Okay, so we'll start from here.